Well, hey everyone, it's Sunday, 18th of February, and I'm just gonna go through the last 2 weeks because I'm getting behind on the videos, and man, I'm tired, real tired. So, last week we went to the AUC. It's a quinmillennial.
A few moments later.
Quinquennial. Anyway, every 5 years. Happens every 5 years. So I happened to graduate at a time where they're having where the fifth year came around, and so I had to be a part of it. So what it was, we had workshops, the whole variety of workshops, how to use this software called Logos, which is really awesome, run by Brock and James, which is really cool. And another one I went to was raising kids, as pastors, and other things like how to organize your time and manage your time, things on health, live strong. I checked that one out as well. But there's a whole heap of them. And basically it's like a massive professional development week. So instead of just being one day or a weekend, it's a whole week, which is really good. So it's a time where our leadership invests in their pastors and trying to empower them. Really, really good. But what happened? I wish I could have made the most of it because my body was there, but my mind was often thinking about, soccer and the kids. So I flew there, and but I drove back because Soccer's car was still there, her little Mazda 3. So I was bringing that back. But on the Sabbath afternoon that I left, 2 o'clock, when I jumped in that car and I came out of Sydney, about hour, 2 hours out of Sydney, I can't remember the area that I was in, the car started to shake. It was crazy. It started to just thinking, what's going on? And when I hit 80, 90, it just started shaking terribly, and 100 was really bad, and I thought it must be the tires. Checked it out, it wasn't the tires. And so for the whole time I was just driving while I was shaking, jerking, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Yeah, I was doing that, and then I was worried. I called Soccer, I didn't know, and then I lost my phone. Don't know where I left it, don't know what I did with it. And then the option was whether to go on the boat. Man, sorry I didn't take any footage. I went on Spirit of Tasmania, right? I had every intention to get some footage. So for any of you that don't know what it is, where you take your car on the boat, I was going to show it. Fell asleep, went to sleep at 9, didn't wake up until 4:30. Wasted. And then so on my drive down to Melbourne, stayed with Levi and Jean. Big shout out to you guys again for accommodating me and reassuring me and praying with me as well that the car stays together. And so the car right now is back at home, and it's waiting for some attention. And this last week I got to start at the school on Wednesday and Thursday. Quick interview. How you feeling? How you feeling starting school today?
Nervous.
Yeah? What are you nervous about?
Being in a new school.
Being a new guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. Quick interview. How you feel starting school today?
Good. Stop.
How do you feel starting school today? Bad? Why? Why do you hate school? You have to love school. Learn to love school. My first day at school today. The kids had theirs yesterday, and that was mine. First impressions last day, Uriah. What you do here? What you do to him? That's you. So, started Wednesday, Thursday. Man, I'm gonna have a blast, I reckon. And just spent the whole week trying to move stuff in the house. I feel like everything that I was formulating in my head while I was at the AUC, I put into action. And today, I'm wasted. I'm just so tired. But catch you up next week too. You know, in the book Matthew 4, it talks about Jesus being led into the wilderness or the desert to be tempted by the devil. It seems like a strange thing to deliberately and intentionally go into the playground of Satan to get tempted or challenged by him. But there's something incredibly significant and deep about this particular chapter, Matthew 4. But I'm only going to look at one particular area. That's in verse 2. It says, after 40 days and 40 nights of fasting, then Satan came to tempt Jesus. After 40 days and 40 nights. You know, Satan hasn't changed. He's a cheap shot. It's at your most vulnerable point, at your weakest moment, when your world is falling apart and the unexpected has arrived and everything that's happening that you could never prepare for. That's when Satan attacks. And he comes with this same old advice, same old solution. Give up and give in, call it quits. That's the only thing he keeps talking about. He still rides that train. And in that particular moment, Jesus challenges him. Amazing. But what happens when Satan's trying to beat Jesus and tempt him and make him fall is that Jesus wins. He wins, and you find in the chapter how he wins. And it's worth reading, because in verse 11, it says the devil left him. The devil left him, and angels came to minister to him. Something powerful about that. How does that work? How does that whole method go down? There's something to be said about what Sun Tzu said in his book, The Art of War. You know, he said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the quote off the top of my head, but he said something along the lines of, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you don't need to be afraid of the result of 1,000 battles. But if you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, for every victory you gain, you will also suffer a defeat. But if you don't know yourself and you don't know your enemy, you're going to succumb. You're going to succumb to every battle. Man, one of the cool things about understanding this chapter in Matthew 4 is that you get to understand Satan and his methods. Not only that, you get to see the inside of Jesus Christ. And when you know Jesus, you know your Creator, you know who you are. And so, we come to this understanding that when you're walking with Jesus, you don't need to be afraid of the results of the battles. You just gotta stay faithful, man. Stay faithful. You know, I saw the hours, for every hour I was driving that car, and I was shaking, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna get here. It's like, man, I knew I was being upheld by prayer. And, you know, and I knew it was just another way of Satan trying to get me at a vulnerable point and make me succumb. But Soccer and I are at a place in our lives now, we understand his methods, we know how he functions. And even though we're at a place right now that we haven't quite got where we want to be, it does say the angels came to minister and brought sustenance to Christ. So we live in that hope. You know, one of the most exciting things about getting Soccer's car to come back was the gifts that we got from Toronto. they gave us a blanket each. Well, Soccer and me, they gave us one each, and one each for the kids, and they're beautifully designed, beautifully knitted, and each one had our names on it. So I was really looking forward to getting them, and we've got them on the kids' beds, and once Soccer and I get a bed, we're going to put it on ours. Choice. Thank you again, Toronto. Bless you.